We're seeing a rise in millionaires and even billionaires who claim they don't pay enough tax and the government should force them to pay more, along with forcing you to pay more. But today, I'm going to give a tutorial to all the self-hating millionaires and billionaires who wish they were paying more, exactly what they need to do. And so we see Abigail Disney, the heiress of part of the Disney fortune. You see even Warren Buffett, someone who I love and have learned a lot from, and I think he's obviously a great investor. These are folks who are saying, why aren't I paying more taxes? And I believe that often they are not giving people the full picture. So when Warren Buffett talks about how the cleaning lady pays higher taxes than he does, she's also going to get a higher percentage of that tax money back because a lot of her tax, in fact, I would argue probably the majority of the tax she's paying is going into payroll tax, which ostensibly is going to be returned to her in the form of Social Security benefits at retirement, should that survive. You can't say that everyone else should pay more to get the same non-benefits. I mean, the program either works or it doesn't, but she's paying more in to get Social Security, which is not really a tax, it's a benefit. It is basically a forced savings program with a really, really, really bad return, as well as Medicare. And so I would imagine if you are someone who has a lower or middle income, that Social Security, Medicare, those things will be preserved, partially because governments like those in the United States and other Western countries will stick it to high earners. Exactly as Warren Buffett says, why do I get a Social Security check? Well, you get it because you paid into it. You paid the maximum for all those years, I would imagine. And so I think there's this kind of misunderstanding, or even in some cases disingenuousness, about why people who make more money pay lower taxes, even though the actual amount of taxes that they pay is a lot more. Bill Gates many, many years ago said he's paid over $10 billion in taxes, and that amount has no doubt gone up dramatically. At some point, he's paid enough. And yet, there are folks who just continue to say that I and you and him over there and all the other successful people should have to pay more to suit their desires, that they don't think they're paying enough tax, despite the fact that their government wastes the money. It is entirely inefficient. And today I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to do if you would like to pay more in taxes without having to hurt the rest of us. Because, hey, why should the rest of us have to be hurt? I'm Andrew Henderson, founder of Nomad Capitalist. We help non-self-hating, high net worth and ultra high net worth entrepreneurs and investors who want to legally reduce their taxes by going offshore, who want to protect themselves from crazy new taxes politicians can dream up by getting dual citizenship, and who want to take advantage of opportunities in other countries because perhaps all of this craziness that's going on in your country is actually infecting business and the economy. Your country's probably not growing as fast as many other countries, and why not just invest in the countries that are growing faster? Now, let's start with the UK. I've been keeping this article in my bookmarks here for a couple of years now. An article from the Financial Times a couple years ago that will explain to you, if you live in the United Kingdom, for example, how you can make sure that you are paying your fair share if you don't think you are. Now, only 200 people have done this in about the last 2 decades. 200 folks, including in the year this article was written, 15 patriotic gifts totaling £180,000 were paid to the nation in the year this was written. Most people, the article says, lavish generosity on friends, family, and good causes, but some select a more unusual recipient, the exchequer. And I have to be honest, if I would have grown up in a country where we had someone called the exchequer, I might not have left, because that's just really, it's like a great name, the exchequer. But 15 people in the UK in the year of this article, this is going back to the late 2010s, 15 folks sent in a total of £180,000. They were some of 200 people that made voluntary tax payments to the government, presumably because they weren't paying enough in tax. Making patriotic gifts to the nation is a long tradition dating back to the time of the Napoleonic Wars. Yet Britain's willingness to donate to the Treasury has dwindled in recent years, even as the country's debts reach a record high. Maybe because we should judge people based on what they do, not based on what they say. Your country has run up record debts. And so if you believe you're not paying enough, hey, listen, remember Donald Trump back in 2000? He was going to run for president, wanted a one-time, 14% wealth tax. We're going to pay off our debt. We're going to be very strong. Nobody wanted to pay that because it's not their fault. Deep down, these self-hating rich people realize they didn't screw up the economy. Now, are there a handful of them who buy and sell politicians? Sure. It's not me. It's not you. It's not anybody you know, probably, especially if you're from the United States, the UK. I mean, maybe if you're watching from, Bolivia or something. It's much more accessible to buy and sell politicians. But where we're from, it is not something that the average garden variety rich person with $1 million, $10 million, even $50 million does. Even if you just donate to a politician, I mean, what? So what? I mean, you're not really having an impact. You're not getting any special favors. And so you realize, why should I pay more? 4 times as much money was raised through donations in the 7 years before the financial crisis as in the 8 following it. And so people figured, hey, why am I contributing to? And so they talk about some of the benefactors, but the suggestion of making this a bigger thing went down like a lead balloon. And so since the turn of the millennium, gifts, I mean, in some years, gifts are like practically zero. Nobody's sending money in. But you can go and you can send a donation or bequest to reduce the national debt, and you can send it in and you can say, hey, please put this to the national debt. Now, the article says these gifts have a negligible impact. Yeah, you think they have like gazillions of dollars in debt, and you're going to send in like 20 grand, and they're, problem solved for like 2 seconds. This shows to me, sure, we could tax Warren Buffett more. Is that really going to solve our problem? Statistically, the answer is no. You can take all of Warren Buffett's money. You'll solve the problem for 5 minutes. And so all this posturing, I get it. Maybe it's good public relations. I'm sure more people like Warren Buffett. I like Warren Buffett. I'm sure more people like him than like me. But the answer is you can send money to the national fund, and you can ask in the UK to pay off your debt, to pay off the national debt. In the United States, you can go right on the Treasury's website. Abigail Disney can go there. Citizens who wish to make a general donation to the U.S. government may send contributions to a specific account called Gifts to the United States. Just, forget your friends and family. Leave the street animals out to rot. Orphans, who needs them? You can send a gift to the United States. This account was established in 1843 to establish gifts, bequests from individuals wishing to express their patriotism. It's a serious topic, I'm sorry. Money deposited into this account is for general use by the federal government and can be made available for budget. Imagine there is some politician in Washington, imagine there's some bureaucrat, some regulator, somebody, and they're there as we speak. They're writing down some plan, to allocate, like $1 billion, like nothing, right? $1 billion. And you're going to send your little gift to the United States, and before they even strike the next keystroke or scribble the next line, your gift is out the door at whatever they decided to dream up. You don't even get to say, hey, please pay down our national debt, or hey, please send this to our troops. Let's up the quality of care. Let's improve the country. So for 80 years they've established this. I believe they've collected. I don't know if we have data. Somebody know if we have data? Leave a comment below. I think they've collected more than 180,000 pounds in a year. But the contributions are considered an unconditional gift to the government. Citizens can make financial donations electronically through the government website, or you can send to Gifts to the United States in Parkersburg, West Virginia, and you have to make a note, gift to the United States. So you see that canceled check, and it's a gift. That's the memo, gift to the United States. And so if you're a self-hating millionaire, just send a check. Send your check to Parkersburg, West Virginia, and it'll be just like taxes. They'll spend it on whatever the heck they want, zero accountability to you, and it'll be gone in mere seconds. And so whether you are a self-hating millionaire or billionaire, the UK and the US are just some of the countries that allow you to send in money willy-nilly. Again, there are no better charitable causes out there. There's no one else who might be accountable. There's no one else who might need the money, or they're barely scraping. But don't worry about them. They'll be fine. Send your gift to the UK or the US government and feel better about yourself. If that's what you believe should be done, you can step up right now. You don't need anyone's permission. You don't need politicians to change a thing. Republicans get in, the Tories, anyway, doesn't matter who's in power. Just send your gift and all will be taken care of.